Hello everyone and welcome to the Indie Crew channel. I'm your host Ghost Waffles and today I'll be reviewing a delightful hidden gem known as Dashington Remastered. It was released on the 8th of November 2017 and was developed and published by Adventure Islands. It's available for PC and mobile devices and it costs £4.29 or $4.99 for those in America. On mobile however, the game can be purchased free of charge, although you will need to pay a small sum of money for the ads to be removed. Dashington Remastered is, as the name suggests, a complete remake of the original Dashington from 2014, which, admittedly, I've never played. In this game, you play as Dashington, a burly treasure hunter who explores ancient ruins and caves in search of vast riches. Unfortunately though, he is always met with the same predicament every time he goes to enter one of these sites. They begin crumbling to the ground, causing Duke to have to quickly dash through them as fast as possible in order to secure the treasure hidden deep within them. The story is admittedly rather generic, and even Duke himself makes a comment on how repetitive it is, but this is definitely a game that focuses more on its gameplay than its story. So let's talk about that. In Dashington Remastered, you'll be dashing through bite-sized levels with varying challenges. Duke is able to dash up, left and right, however to dash up, he must touch the floor first. Also, whenever he dashes in a certain direction, he can't stop, so if you dash into the direction of spikes, you're done for. On top of this, you only have 10 seconds to complete each level, and if you're unable to do this, the whole room collapses. This gameplay style initially stuck out to me, as it's not one that I see used very often. In fact, there's only one game I can think of off the top of my head that actually uses a similar kind of gameplay style. It's Blitzbreaker for anyone wondering. Plus, this control scheme combined with a 10-second time limit on each level makes the game super intense, which I think really adds to the game's charm and makes it more original. Throughout the game, you'll come across different obstacles that are thrown into each of the various levels, ranging from spikes, breakable blocks, buzzsaws, moving platforms, spears, rapid water, rotating spiky balls, fireballs that come up from the floor, sinking platforms, falling crystals, movable minecarts and platforms that when dashed into, flip over. I think these just help in making the game more stand out, and they add another element to the various puzzle challenges you'll be having to complete, which makes them far more enjoyable. There are 5 places for you to explore, each containing 30 levels. These places are the Temple of Nanapmis, the Lost Pyramid, the City of Atlantis, Mount Hades and the Crystal Cavern. The game isn't that long, taking around 15, maybe 20 minutes to complete, but that's only if you know what you're doing. For a first time player, it may take around an hour or less, but this is all very skill dependent. Each of the places had unique themings, including an ancient jungle temple, an Egyptian pyramid, an underwater palace, an active volcano, and a beautiful crystal cave. I think my favourite of these would be Crystal Cavern. Out of all of the other places, it by far looks the best, and the puzzles within it are definitely more challenging, but incredibly satisfying when solved. And that kinda segues me onto my next point. I believe the puzzles in this game are expertly crafted, and whilst they may be rather difficult to the average person, they still feel incredibly rewarding once solved. Plus, the game doesn't have the problem where the puzzles get so hard that I had to look up a guide, which stopped the game from becoming boring. In fact, it was actually very fun solving the puzzles. I found it very entertaining to constantly try new things to solve the puzzles when I was completely stumped. All of this is very much why I believe that Crystal Cavern is the best place in the game. It offers challenging levels that do take a few attempts to solve, but are ultimately very rewarding when completed. I especially love the puzzles that involve the minecarts. The minecarts are able to be pushed and will reach the end of their tracks when this is done. The developer really managed to craft some deeply interesting puzzles with this very unique mechanic, and for that, I think these puzzles deserve all the praise they can get. I'm also a big fan of how difficulty is handled in this game. The difficulty throughout is very well balanced, and as I've said before, it keeps the game enjoyable, and never boring. The first place in the game, Temple of Nanapmis, acts as your tutorial world, with it teaching you all the game's basic mechanics and what you can expect from it. What I think this world does really well, however, is that whilst it's a tutorial world, it doesn't exactly hold your hand, and provides some decent challenge throughout the later stages, which isn't very common in most tutorial worlds. It's not ridiculously easy, but at the same time, it isn't anything too hard, and that's exactly what I think tutorial worlds should be. Furthermore, the difficulty steadily ramps up as you play, as the game introduces more unique obstacles and offers up more challenging puzzles that require a bit of thought. The game uses rather simple pixel art, which isn't exactly anything mind-blowing. If anything, it's a tad generic, but I do think it gives the game some charm. In fact, its style kinda reminds me of an old SNES game, but obviously made with more modern technology. The soundtrack admittedly wasn't anything too special, but there were a few songs here and there that stood out to me, and were quite catchy. These songs were Title Screen, Temple of Nanatmis, Lost Pyramid, City of Atlantis, and Crystal Cavern. I think the songs also managed to capture the themes of their respective levels quite well. For example, even though I don't particularly like the song all that much, I think that Mount Hades does a great job of capturing the intensity of being inside an active volcano that's about to blow. And with all that said, that wraps up my review for Duke Dashington Remastered. I'll be giving this game a review score of 7.5 out of 10. Admittedly, it is a relatively simple game with mechanics and a playstyle that aren't anything too mind-blowing, but I believe that Duke Dashington Remastered manages to provide very entertaining gameplay along with a variety of interesting levels and challenging, yet fair puzzles that feel very satisfying to complete. If you're still here, then thanks for watching. If you like the vid, then you may be interested in joining our community Discord server, where we post updates on our vids. It's also just a chill space to hang out with friendly indie game enjoyers. Also, I want to give a massive thanks to Miss Textures for the vid's thumbnail. You can find both links to our Discord server and Miss Textures' socials in the description below. Cheers for watching.